Hey, we're gonna get started with a little postpartum Pilates flow. I have a couple exercises that we're gonna go through a few times as a circuit. We're gonna hit the core muscles. We're gonna work a little bit of the glutes as well. So hopefully we can get a nice little feeling back into our core, that we're starting to reconnect with our core in the postpartum period. So first off, I'm just gonna start with a stretch just to kind of relax the pelvic floor, okay? So when we're postpartum, we wanna be able to relax the pelvic floor as well as engage it, right? So I need to be able to soften and lengthen down my pelvic floor and able to then engage it, right? So when we soften and relax our pelvic floor, we're thinking about softening down, opening up through the pelvic floor. So imagine like an octopus as the legs open up, or even like a crane as a crane comes down. We want to think about that softening and opening up of the pelvic floor, relaxing. And then as I engage it, I'm lifting up that crane, right? Or the octopus legs are coming up and into the body. So we're going to take our knees up and we're going to just do a couple breaths here. So you're going to inhale, relax, and soften down on that pelvic floor. Think about spreading it open. As you exhale, gently lifting in and up. So another big inhale to relax, spreading, letting that crane open. Exhale, you're gently lifting in and up, right? So we can try that in different positions as well, but I just wanted to kind of walk through that quickly in the beginning here before we get started in our circuit. So imagining that softening down, and then when we're exhaling, we're gently lifting the pelvic floor in and up, okay? All right, so we are gonna start with just a couple bridges just to kind of get the glutes warmed up. So when you're ready, join me on your mat, feet are flat right underneath your knees, okay? And we're gonna just start to tuck that tailbone, bridge the hips up, and then come back down. So I'm just kind of scooping my tailbone as I bridge, feeling the glutes at the top, making sure we're not overarching the ribs as we come up. So you can take this at whatever pace feels good for you. Knees are trying to stay straight in line with your hips as you come up. Exhaling as we come up. Good, couple more. And rest it down. Good. So now we're going to go into a little bit of 100. So you're going to have your arms straight out. We're going to pump the arms. As we pump the arms, I'm going to lift up into a tabletop. So I'm exhaling, lift up. Good. Pumping those arms. Shoulders are up off the mat. I'm lifting my chin up towards the ceiling or towards that wall facing in front of me. Exhaling up into that tabletop. Out through your mouth with some S's. So you're thinking about making an S sound. Out through those clenched teeth. Inhaling and exhaling. Almost there. And rest. Good. Now we're going to come up into a cross crunch with a leg extension. So let's take our right hand behind the head. I'm going to come up with my left knee. I'm going to meet the left knee and then extend straight out. So exhale, meet that knee, extend straight out. Up and across. Good. Getting that right shoulder off the ground. Stretching out that left leg. Good. So we're working a little cross connection here. Trying to keep the pelvis steady. Don't let it rock around. As we come across, good, exhaling, and rest it down. Nice job. Now we're going to take it into the left side. So same thing here. Right hand can be on the floor. Left hand is behind your head. We're going to come up with the right knee. I'm going to crunch that knee into my elbow and then extend the leg. Good. Extend, exhale as we crunch. Extend straight out, keeping that leg nice and straight. Exhaling across, inhale here. You rest at any point you need to, and then come back to join me. Good, make sure we're breathing, inhaling as we extend, and rest. Nice job. We're gonna come onto our side now. So we're gonna go into a little bit of a side plank with a leg circle. So elbows set up right underneath my shoulder, bottom knee is bent. We're going to exhale, lift up into this side plank. Top leg is straight, and I'm going to do little circles here. So only the leg is moving. We're trying to keep the hips nice and steady. Okay, we're going to switch halfway. Right about here, switch directions. So just little circles with a pointed toe, leg is straight. We're keeping the hips up. Exhaling out through our mouth. Feeling that core engage. Nice work, and rest it down. Good, let's go to the other side. So same thing here. Elbow is right underneath that shoulder, knees under the hips, leg is straight. Exhale, come up into the side plank, circle it around. Good, breathe. Keeping the hips up. Leg is straight. Good, switch directions for me. Come down if you need to. You can do this on the hips, on the ground with the circle, but we're gonna feel both glutes here. Almost there. Nice work. And rest it down. Good. All right, we're gonna go back to the top, okay? So we're going back to that bridge. We're gonna add a little bit of a pulse this time, okay? Now that we're warmed up. So take it down, feet are right under your hips, bridge those hips up, and then halfway down, back up for a pulse. Good, all the way down. So we bridge all the way up, halfway down for a pulse, and back down. Good. Tucking tailbone as we bridge. Nice little pulse at the top. So halfway down, back up, squeeze the glutes. All the way down. After that pulse, good. Bridge, pulse, all the way down. Nice job. Keeping those ribs down, right? Make sure they're not arching. We don't want a rib flare here. Good, rest. Trying to keep the ribs down. All right, we're going into those hundreds with the marching tabletop, okay? So I'm gonna inhale, pump the arms, bring up the leg. So as you bring up your leg, you might notice that the opposite hip wants to come off the floor. Let's try to flatten out through those low abs, okay? Don't let the other opposite hip come up off the floor. Good, that knee's coming right up over your hips. Flattening out through those low abs. Try to keep the shoulders up. Pump those arms. And rest. Nice job. All right, we're going into that cross crunch with the leg extension now, okay? So take that right hand behind your head. We're gonna come up into that tabletop with the right knee. Crunch, extend straight out. Exhale, across, extend straight out. Good, working that opposite arm and leg. Keeping the shoulder off the ground. Extend that leg straight out with a pointed toe. Using your breath as we come across is really important here. Exhaling to engage. Good, last one. And rest. All right, we're taking it to the other side. Left hand behind your head. Let's bring that knee up in tabletop. Crunch, and then extend on your inhale. Exhale across. Get nice and long with that leg. Good work. Thinking about drawing those hip bones together, pulling those abs in and up. Good, last one. Nice work. All right, let's take it into that side plank, okay? So we're coming onto our side, elbows right under your shoulder, knees in a straight line with your hips, okay? We're gonna take a nice inhale, exhale, bring it up, and circle it around. Little circles, trying not to let your hips move, right? Just the leg is moving. Small circles, steady through the hips. Good, switch directions. Breathe. Little circles here, you got it. Drop the hips if you need to. And rest. Good, take it over to the other side. Other side's always hard because we already just worked that leg, right? We were just on the isolated hold on that side, on this side. So here we go. Exhale, come on up and circle it around. Small circles here, working the glute med, top part of our glute. Nice and controlled circles. Little ones, change direction. Keep using that breath. Keep your shoulders down, away from your ears. You got it, almost there. And rest, nice job. All right, we're gonna go through it one more time, okay? Let's work. Back to the bridge. We're gonna do that little mini pulse at the top, okay? Come on down. All right, here we go. Let's bridge the hips up. Little pulse halfway down, back up all the way down. Exhale, bridge up, mini pulse, back down. Good. We're in control here with that pulse, keeping the glutes engaged. Good. Relaxing as we go down, relaxing those glutes. Good. We're exhaling, thinking about exhaling from the bottom up, right? So I'm kind of engaging a little pelvic floor as I come up into that bridge, working the low abs here too. Last one, and rest. Good. All right, we're working that hundreds crunch with the tabletop. All right, so here we go. Pump those legs up to the tabletop. Good, so this is working towards the hundreds. Eventually we can get up to both legs tabletop and pump. If you want to try it there, go ahead. We're exhaling, or you can drop a heel as we come up. Okay, so a couple different ways to work this. We're working the transverse abs, trying to keep those low abs nice and flat here while we're still breathing. Good, rest, nice job. All right, let's go into that crunch, opposite arm and leg crunch, tabletop to extension, okay? Here we go, bring that knee up, left knee up, and then extend. Exhale, good, nice strong exhale as we come across the knee, the elbow. Get that elbow up there to reach the knee. Feel that little crunch. Good. Almost there, keep working. Rest if you need to. Nice steady hips here, not rocking around. Last one. Good, rest. All right, taking it to the other side. Hand behind your head. Bring that knee up into tabletop. Exhale across. Inhale, extend. Good. Opposite hip stays on the ground here. Up and across with that elbow. Touch the knee, good. Keep those low abs nice and flat through here. Low back is pretty flat on the ground too. Last one. Good, rest it down, nice job. All right, let's take it into the side, all right? We got one more of these side planks with the leg circles, okay? Then we're gonna take a nice little stretch at the end here for the pelvic floor too, okay? So take a nice exhale, come on up, circle it around. Little circle. Feel the glute working on the top and the bottom. Shoulders down. Good, keep those steady hips. Switch directions. Other way, nice job. Long leg. Good, keep breathing. And rest it down, nice job. All right, over to the other side, last one here. Elbow under that shoulder, knees in line with your hips. Exhale to bring it up and circle it around. Little circles here, almost done. Nice work, keep those hips up, you got it. Switch directions for me. Breathe, steady hips, don't let them fall. Almost there, working the glutes, you got it. Obliques a little bit here too. Nice job, and rest it down. All right, we're gonna come onto our hands and knees, okay? So I'm gonna come onto my elbows. We're gonna go palms up for this one. My knees are gonna be spread wide, just about hip distance. We're gonna really think about softening down, relaxing that pelvic floor. So I'm gonna kind of sit my hips back and think about spreading my sits bones, okay? So now I'm gonna take a nice big inhale, and I'm thinking about inhaling all the way down into those sits bones, okay? So nice inhale in through your nose. Send air down into those sits bones, and then exhale, just side out. Good, let's do one more. Inhaling down into those sits bones, spread that pelvic floor, open up. Exhale, side out. Good, so like I said in the beginning, being able to soften and relax that pelvic floor is super important in the postpartum period to then learn how to engage it and work the core properly. Thank you for joining me.